Hello, this is a silver Reinhardt in some Zarya review, and the post on this one mentions that they were accused of feeding and throwing, and they usually play Zarya, but they're trying out Reinhardt. So we'll see how it goes.
Attackers incoming.
Reinhardt, sometimes you can feed on him, tricky, but he's got a huge barrier, hammer, fire strike. Like, he can put out a lot of pressure. He's got a lot of big numbers, so he can be pretty good. Maybe not so much on second point, but on a lot of smaller maps or flat maps, he definitely has a lot to bring with just the amount of health and shield he has. But nice fire strikes. Oh yeah, those are real nice fire strikes. Getting ult charge. Getting some bubbles out. So yeah, you're working down this. You can wait for sort of your barrier to recharge and then push through eventually on some of these good fire strikes. And the charge on Zarya, this is not a feeding charge because if you get her, your both will land here. Your whole team can see you. Their team can't shoot you in the back because you'll land here. So this is fine. And if you miss, you can just stand here. So this is not a feeding charge. This is fine. And you can push forward with the barrier. Yeah, because Zarya's running out of bubbles. Their supports are getting hit with fire strikes. So I mean, you're wearing them down. This is great ride play. And you can see your health barely went up below 500 that whole time. So Ryan can wreck Zarya. That's a good example of, I guess, the two characters you play where they have the advantage. You can run down to Zarya and sort of out-resource trade them. And this second point is sort of where Ryan will get hard. Because ideally you would work up here, but you can't get to the what is it, the little forklift or the elevator. And they are gonna, like, you're getting to gold, people are gonna start taking high ground and drop down on you when the advantage calls for it, or shoot down on you, so people are gonna start actually using this map advantage, and then you're Reinhardt, if you can't get up there, you're kind of just stuck in the mud, so. And that's a good charge again, because you're basically getting a 1v1 on her. You canceled it because you probably thought you were going to miss, but this is a good charge again. Even though the bubble's blocking your healing, you're basically just 1v1ing her by charging her in a cubby, so this is fine. We'll see if there are some bad charges later that accuse the teammates of calling you a feeder. But I was gonna say, you heard the Winston, so you can be getting him. Oh, you miss. But I noticed it already. The Winston used his bubble. He used his shield. Is there something you should be doing right now? I just want you to think for a few seconds. What should we be doing? Okay, we missed it, but definitely the answer was shatter. Especially when the Winston missed his jump, that's a cue like, oh, he's stuck on the ground. Even if he bubbles, you're like right next to him, so you're guaranteed him, even if you didn't know he had bubble. You're basically guaranteed to win off this Winston. So it doesn't have to be a 5-man shatter, you can just shatter those 3 guys. And yeah, he's gonna reset high ground and that's what I was talking about. They're actually doing the higher level thing of controlling this and dropping down, so it's kind of like you have nothing to swing on, which is why when they were down here, that was your chance, but okay, and Winston jumped down. It can be, like, I know you want to shield off these people, and there's a time for it. There's a time for letting your whole team deal with their tank and you blocking everyone else. But I'm going to argue this Winston went in so early, and this Moira Genji, they're not like Ashe or Soldier. They're not really going to pick your teammates off. I argue the answer here is definitely you saw the Winston, just go for him. He's basically feeding. If someone goes in this early, you can just straight up turn around and just go for him. I think you're trying to be too fancy here, blocking off the follow-up when... yeah, this Winston's other. If you just charge back, he's dead. That is a good shatter, though. Get him baited in. Good job not feeding to the beam. And you got nothing to do. It's going to be hard to get that Genji. I argue you could still go back and get this Winston. Okay, well, he's gone now, but... And it's hard the way they're playing on Kiriko, Genji, and the map. It's hard to just find something to swing on. But you might as well... This is sort of Reinhardt on second point play. But if you can get a good charge on the Winston, if you're aware of it, and their whole team's not ready to follow up, like, he's still in early. If their whole team was actually walking forward, then you turning your back is bad. But I just commit to charging this guy when he goes in early. No, well, now they're on Bastion. But this is fine, resetting. Good kill on the Kiriko. And so, I was gonna say, Bastion's used his turn for him now, so you can go a little more aggressive. Oh, well, you got that reflected into you. Okay, I'm gonna say this is a feeding charge. The answer is, this Winston's here, he's bubbled, your help off, he's here, and you're gonna land wedged in between two groups of people. So whenever your charge goes to a place where you're surrounded, that's bad. So this is probably your first just feeding charge of the game. I don't know if you'll probably won't live because that bubble's blocking the healing too. Oh, well, you're geez, I forget her name. Iliari. She tried to rush forward and save you, which is gonna get her killed. But yeah, that was a bad charge.
There is no challenge I cannot face. Barrier up.
And that charge was fine. You were going for the Genji. Waiting for the end of Bastion's form, so this is great. Oh, that is not great though. So let's say we replace these two supports with pro supports. I still don't think they beat you guys. I mean, you'd have to do something crazy to actually, like, get picks on everyone and go through your full health and your shield, so this shatter, you might have already known it, but yeah, this was completely uncalled for. As soon as you got the Winston and the Genji, it was done. So you're gonna want the shatter because you don't, basically for next fight, if this Bastion comes out in the supports, you can get them. So I don't, just a wasted shatter really. And someone's got to be on the payload, but if your supports have it, I'd recommend just being up here. Make it hard for them to get out. I didn't mention it. Sometimes if you win a fight, you can even as tank like come up here as Reinhardt, but it didn't seem like there was a super clear opportunity to do that, so I didn't mention it. But if in between fights your supports are on payload, you can go take some, like what you're doing now, you can take some space. Oh, that was a risky charge, because if you really landed here, I mean, there's a lot of people shooting you. But I guess would get the Bastion. But charges like that, you got to think you're gonna end up completely separated from your supports with multiple people on their team shooting at you. So that's a case of you got to think where you'll end up at the end of the charge, and that was it might have even been a good thing that you hit yourself on the wall and didn't actually get through to the dumpsters. Good fire strikes, though. So good stuff. They were not able to get out of the door as well, so you completely stop that retake. So good stuff so far. Oh, I guess they got stuck in their own spawn. Oh, well, turning and shattering is hard, and that charge was good because you were going to basically land charging back to your team, so that charge was good too. So there have only been like 2 feeding charges so far, and a few bad shatters, but yeah, it's just hard to get Genji sometimes. It's Reinhardt. And honestly, I might even just ignore that Genji. It's going to be so hard to chase him down as Reinhardt that I might, even though he does get a good flank on you, I might just still leave him. Good fire strikes again. Wait for your team. You got Vortex out, so now's a good time to push in again. And you can just wait out Bastion and then go. Let your... Oh, like you pop the shield up again, that reset the recharging. So I would have just held the corner, not thrown up your shield again, because it could be recharging right now. And as soon as this Bastion gets his turret form out, that's your time to walk. And ideally you want 1,000+ barrier for that. But luckily your Genji's ulting and it didn't matter, but you do want to just be more careful about your shield. And this is good. Either it's good, either charging or holding the doors. Good job going for Kiriko. And there's a good shatter. Okay, we got it. So let's go to your defense. All in all, that was pretty good. You were able to get through second point pretty well, which is hard, because there were times where just the Winston, the Kiriko, the Genji, they're all just hard to run down, is Genji. And that's where Zarya can sometimes be good if that's your only other hero. Just something where you have a little more range. And as I say that, they're on Pharah now, so this is going to get really hard. Like a Pharah, you basically just don't even interact with Pharah. And Roadhog, so you gotta be more careful about when you peek out from corners with Roadhog. So just looking at these characters, like you're not gonna know they're on them until a few seconds, but basically all you can do is you can't stop the Pharah. Try and just hold this choke point against everyone and not get hooked into Roadhog's team. That's basically just your goal. Alright, so we heard the Roadhog and the Pharah now. So just be careful about like the fire strike animation or peeking out of the corner too much. That's when you'll get hooked. Good job falling back here. And even there, that's another case of I don't know why you're jumping on this truck. Just let your shield recharge, hold the corner. The more you push in against a Pharah and a Hog, the worse it's gonna get. I'm telling you. So just be the gatekeeper, the bridge holder, whatever. Oh, and that's kind of a bet. I mean, I get if you were sure you were gonna get it, fine, but this is where you're gonna let the other team walk through. Like this hog, he's not instead of looking at your barrier, he basically gets a free hook now. So, does it turn into anything? No, he still tries to hook you even though he didn't have to. That's kind of funny, but... And this Pharah, again, like, you're not going to get her. You just got to focus on what Rein can do, which is hold this area. So don't get distracted too easily. Like, ooh, a Pharah, ooh, a Genji. Like, you're... Only in very specific situations can you actually get these people. Because she has to have at least one of her two movement abilities. And yeah, she had the boost juke thing. Oh, like that is a bad charge. Like it's either gonna be sleep or hook. Like you're not getting that off. So it's kind of they've swapped to heroes that'll punish you hard for being out in the open or throwing a bad charge. So I would have recommended just going back to the corner and boop boop boop, holding it, shielding. Just keep holding the front line. Yeah, because if they get you now, you have thrown the fight, but... Your supports have you, though. Your supports have been pretty good all game. Oh, that is another bad charge! That's such a bad charge! You're charging multiple people at once, including a hog. You just gotta change up your playstyle now that they're on hog and Ana. You can't make it too obvious. And luckily, this hog's being nice. He can do that stupid glitch thing where you just turn and like they get hooked in front of you no matter where you're looking. He kind of lets you off a little easy but there, you're back in cover. Drop your shield, let it recharge. Don't get over distracted by this Genji. Because see, look at this. Yes, you got him, but this Genji was probably dead anyway. And if there's an Ana like looking over the point like this, you've probably failed as tank in some capacity. Because now this hog's literally running down your team, and this Ana's dumping sleeps and antis into people, and it's just I would have recommended you just stay here, because then this hog would still be here. This Ana would have to be here. So I think you just get distracted too easily by characters that are hard to go for. Okay.
That was on purpose.
I don't think like this. You made the mistake running towards the Genji, and then you tried to fix your mistake by panic charging. So that's kind of one mistake causes another. You didn't have to go that aggressive. And you didn't get... I guess Ana used her sleep and anti, and Hog used his hook, because they didn't do anything about that bad charge, but it was a bad charge, just letting you know. Okay, don't run after the Pharah. You just... Unfortunately, you just can't do anything about the Pharah. So just keep focusing on what you can control. Like blocking Roadhog or shielding his hook, but and that charge isn't terrible because it was kind of sneaky and Roadhog just used his hook. So as long as you were thinking in your head, oh, Roadhog used hook, there's an opening. As long as you were thinking like that, then I don't mind this. But if you weren't and you were just, I want to charge, then you're going to get hooked and slept and antied if you're not careful. And that's fine, your team had the advantage. It's like 3-on-1, you can charge there, that's fine. But now you actually have run into their team, so this is getting dangerous. I don't know if this will work, but if it doesn't, you've basically given them a free point A, so just keep that in mind. Okay, you do back out, and they kind of... Pharah luckily did not like concussion mine you back into the team, which is what a higher level Pharah would do, but you got out. You made the right choice.
Is that all you've got? I am on fire! Come face me!
And this fight just turned into a mess. But you probably should just charge back to your team. Oh. Yeah, and you've kind of ran out of shield, but once you missed the charge out, you had to use all your shield to kind of waddle away, but that was just sort of mechanical things, missing the shatter on the corner and missing your charge, but really not much you can do. Yeah, they're just gonna out-ult you. I mean, they saved up ults. That was a pretty good point A, other than you getting distracted by the Pharah and Genji and letting their team through a few times. It was pretty good. But we're holding. Do not go in that room. Do not want to get slept and hooked in that room. But you can hold this corner. Oh, and I want to say, if you're taking a lot of damage, the safer thing actually is to just go in here. That way only the Hog can really see you. If Genji wants to come get you, he has to kind of go in and put himself in danger. So the safer thing is actually go into the corner instead of backwards, really. Okay, that was a feed charge. And I came back from a holiday break, actually, and dropped out of Masters 5. And I did something similar, and the Ana literally, like, presses their mic button and goes, ah, like, loudly sighs into the mic. Your supports are not happy with you right now, charging into that many people while you were already low. Oh, I can't believe you're alive. Your supports are really helping you here. Yeah, and this is a bad charge again, because your Ana can see you here. Luckily, your Echo's going in now, which you didn't see that. You kind of got lucky, but you're ending up surrounded again. Like, choose between hook and getting slept, and I just... These are kind of feedy charges. Nice shatter there. So I mean, your fire strikes and some of your shatters are pretty well above silver. I'm just pointing out things like some of those charges. If the other team was focusing you more, or their team was a little better, you'd be dead from those charges. So it's better just to build up good habits now while you're trying to go into gold. Hello. Yeah, and you can block the Pharah, but don't get overly concerned with the Pharah. Again, your real targets are sort of the Genji and the Ana and the Winston. Yeah, this is see, like, look at how easily they can come around the corner now that they've got your back. Like, this Ana's literally just riding on the cart on the hood of the truck. Like, she is so unpressured right now. It's kind of funny. But yeah, I think you messed up giving up ground to go chase that Genji, and their team is basically all flyers now. You don't even have anything to swing on. I'd recommend swapping to something like I don't know if you play Diva, or I guess you play Zarya. Not even because you're necessarily throwing. Like, you're making as many good plays as bad plays. Who are you gonna swing on? Except the Winston, but he's just gonna jump out. So. Yeah, even with the Kitsune, that was a bad charge. You probably only did that because you heard the Kitsune, but it doesn't make you invincible. That was really just a Kitsune to try and save your life. And you instantly charged them and got shot by 4 people. Yeah, that's a lesson. Sometimes you get baited by your support ultimates and think you gotta run in, but you don't always have to just fly in when you hear a support ultimate. Oh yeah. Looks like you just chased
I
the
can take
Genji there.
more than that.
Probably best just to die on cart there, because they're about to cap now, but
Duplicating Winston.
you do have a shatter. It's kind of like you might have to just solo shatter their Ana. It's like, who are you gonna shatter? Probably not the Genji, probably not the Mercy, definitely not the Pharah. This is just, they've basically just swapped heroes until your Reinhardt's not very good anymore.
I will keep you safe.
I mean, just as soon as you see like a Genji land or you Winston land or someone, use the shadow. Okay, good. I'm glad you used it. I mean, that's not perfect, but at least it's not like you're gonna shatter 5 with their team. Yeah. And your healers were on the way, but that was probably just them using a lot of ultimates again. If you do say you go for Zarya, there's not much time left, but I recommend the Zarya would be a good swap here. Yeah, and you probably would be best just to try and shield or maybe go for the supports, because it's going to be hard to do anything about this nanoed Genji. I mean, you might not get the Ana either, but it's kind of just you're seeing the problems of playing Reinhardt against a team full of dive characters at this point. Okay, and we are on Zarya, and I mean, I like the Zarya swap not because you did do some bad charges and kind of feed a few times, but you weren't doing terrible. I like Zarya just because now you can actually fight the Genji and the Pharah. Get out of the bubble so you can get healed. Okay, good job. Get that Genji. Yeah, so your aim is definitely good for silver.
I'm on fire! Everyone follow me!
And sure enough, this is going well once you can actually shoot their Genji and their Pharah. And just go for ult charge here. You might get it next fight, so just try and, yeah, throw in some right clicks. Every bit of ult charge matters. That Winston used his bubble super early, so you can go for the Pharah or the Winston, because that was a terrible jump in and bubble there. Oh yeah, you were just the server admin right now. And they probably don't have time to touch, so that was last fight. That's a good grab, so like the swap, that really just had more to do with you actually being able to shoot their flying heroes more than anything. So that's why I like the swap, but hopefully we went over the good aggressive plays as Rein and the bad aggressive plays as Rein. Sometimes you let your shield run all the way out as Reinhardt and you wouldn't let it recharge. But other than that, you did pretty well on the Rein and the Zarya, so hope the feedback helps.